Is there a part of you that sometimes looks up into the night sky and actually marvels at the vastness of space, and who also wonders about how incredibly intricate and complex the universe actually is? And is there any part of you that wished that you could be propelled in an instant deep into the wonders of the universe to see all of its beauty firsthand? I mean, the universe is made up of countless galaxies, each with billions of stars and planets, and there are also mysterious phenomena like black holes, dark matter and dark energy. And I really hope that you can relate, but the little boy inside of me can't help but be captivated by all of that. Captivated about everything out there, from the largest known object in the universe, the Hercules, Corona, Borealis, Great Wall, a vast cluster of galaxies bound together by gravity and estimated to be about 10 billion light years across, to planets in our own solar system like Venus, a small, rocky terrestrial planet that spins in the opposite direction of Earth. Yeah, there's definitely a small part of me that is utterly fascinated by it all. So when a watch brand portrays and takes inspiration from space to create timepieces in tribute, in function and in design to space, that part of me also becomes very quickly absorbed in the watches that they produce.
Houston, we have a problem.
Today, I'm looking at the Davinci Black Ice Automatic Limited Edition by Nubeo, a watch brand that is part of Dartmouth Brands, a company that is home to a unique stable of brands developed and curated for multi-channel retailers worldwide. And the Davinci Black Ice is a watch that has been inspired by the Davinci space mission, a groundbreaking endeavour aiming to unveil the mysteries of Venus. We take the macro lens out to take a very close look at every single aspect of this watch, as I always try to do for you, my lovely viewers, all 7 of you. And keep a lookout for my usual walk around at the end of my vid as I take the Nubeo Davinci Black Ice to the United Kingdom's National Space Centre, a brilliant museum and educational resource covering the fields of space science and astronomy here in lovely Leicester, before what feels like going back in time in comparison to the Space Museum by taking a quick drive down to Windsor and having a little mooch around the old streets around Windsor Castle. As ever, it's great to have you here. Now let's look at an overdramatic specification of this watch, all in the next 90 seconds. Nubeo is a well-known brand that is part of the Dartmouth Brands conglomerate, and in my opinion designs watches that are completely out of the ordinary in terms of technology, design and aesthetics, and actually designs that take inspiration from both space and the sea. And Nubeo claim that each Nubeo timepiece is defined by performance, functionality, yet with a design language that blends the organic with the industrial in a manner that makes for a truly unique exhibition of time. And Nubeo's product range is vast, from the fantastic Magellan Chronograph Space Invaders Limited Edition in Alien Green to the Ventana Automatic Limited Edition in Dark Magma. Their range, much like the universe itself, is vast and continues to expand with truly creative and innovative designs. And this, in my absolutely grubby but very soft and pampered hands today, is the Nubeo Davinci Black Ice, which was very kindly sent to me by the guys at Nubeo for purposes of review. And this, the Black Ice, is one of 5 different colourways in the Davinci range. You've got the Crimson Black, Golden Black, Indigo Blue, Juniper Green, and this, the Black Ice. And as mentioned, this is a watch inspired by the Davinci space mission, which is a groundbreaking endeavour aiming to unveil the mysteries of Venus. And the mission is named after Leonardo da Vinci, but actually Da Vinci standing for Deep Atmosphere Venus Investigation of Noble Gases, Chemistry and Imaging. And this is a mission intended for an orbiter and atmospheric probe to head to the planet Venus with a planned landing date of June 2031. So anyway, just to reiterate what was said in a deep, dark and spacey 90-second spec, again I'm quite proud of that one. This, the Nubeo Davinci I measured, comes in at 15mm thick, including the crystal, a very juicy 53.2mm lug to lug, 46mm in diameter, 22mm lug width, with the silicon strap tapering right down to 19.5mm by the time it reaches this side buckle. The dial, okay, wow. So like all Nubeo watch styles, you're going to find that they are hugely intricate, and for me, very well designed. I mean, this looks like it belongs to a futuristic space console. But first and foremost, this dial is split into 4 main sections, split by what looks like a black X, set against a slightly offset silver X beneath it. The dial overall forms a rectangular shape, and the dial is partially skeletonized. So here you can see the balance wheel on the left section of that black X footprint, with one of the jewels showcased inside this chrome ring that really stands out in the dial. On the right section of that X, you can see other parts of the movement too, and here is where the Nubeo logo is housed, with the words Nubeo Automatic in blue and white looking pretty damn cool against the chrome elements of the movement behind it. The top and bottom sections have this really attractive mesh covering up the movement in blue, and I must say it looks pretty awesome. And that X shape is bolted down by these really nice screws, all signatured with a Y shape, that screw itself brushed and the Y part polished. In terms of indices, you've got a very bold and very modern looking 12 and 6 in a very raw brushed steel outlined in yellow and applied to these tabs, which is bolted onto the dial again with these totally cool looking screws. And that dial is surrounded by a white chapter ring. It's very deep, as you can see. The mold of that chapter ring actually has these hour markers integrated into that mold, with very simply 05, 10, 15, 20, etc. minute markers printed onto that chapter ring, with minute marker lines also printed in between. You've also got the limited edition status in red on that chapter ring, bearing in mind that this model is limited to 500 pieces. Now, the hands for me just finish off the modern, futuristic, spacey, totally awesome, and I must say very innovative dial design. All 3 are skeletonized, very juicy, the minute hand looking at first glance to be a tad thinner than the hour hand, but actually eclipses it pretty much perfectly. Both of those hands are steel, but are outlined in a very bold white. Now, with a very busy dial and all sorts going on, I think Nubeo have done a really good job in keeping legibility pretty much on point. The second hand is in black, with a red tip making that hand feel much like it's a red space probe spinning around the dial. And those hands are lit up with a superluminova lume. There is no specific grade of what that superluminova is, and for me it looks pretty cool on the hands and on the hour indices on the chapter ring, and there's not really much more I can say about this other than that, I don't know, that little boy inside of me kind of wishes that for a watch like this, themed on a mission to Venus, a planet that is one of the brightest objects in the night sky, a more spectacular showing of Lume would have been better, even if it was just a gimmick. The case is made from stainless steel, brushed, and does span a very juicy 53.2mm lug to lug. Again, the shape and design very much looks like it belongs to a control panel of a spaceship. It's fairly wide too, at 46mm in diameter. Takes on this very interesting rectangular shape, and purely for design aesthetics, you've got these pretty cool blue panels, again in stainless steel, that are bolted onto the sides of the case and run down about 40mm on both sides. And Nubeo have continued with that bolted on feel by sporting these 8 black screws on the front of the case. And also note that there is this additional section here that sits between the case, the chapter ring, and the crystal, and is polished. And speaking of which, the crystal is a mineral lens with anti-reflective coating. Okay, shame it's not a top-end anti-scratch sapphire crystal, which you'll actually find on the Curiosity Evolution Automatic Limited Edition Abalone, for example, amongst other Nubeo models. But actually, with such an intricate dial on the Davinci range, perhaps Nubeo decided to use a lens that wasn't as reflected as a sapphire crystal? I don't know. The crown is a push-pull crown, 9.9mm in diameter, and protrudes 5.5mm from the case, so pretty juicy. It really is a stylish looking crown. It's signatured with the N element of the Nubeo logo in this octagonal part of the crown, and has this orange steel that surrounds it, which takes it up several levels in my opinion. In that addition of another secondary colour to this colourway adds more of a modern twist to an already very modern looking watch in my opinion. And just to note that this watch is water resistant to 5 ATM or 50 meters, so okay if you're splashing around in the paddle pool with your youngest, but probably not a good idea if you want to go deep sea diving, unless it's in the sea of tranquility. So wow, look, overall a lot of thought and consideration has gone into the entire face of this watch, into that dial, into the hands, the chapter ring in particular, to give this watch a very, 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 very modern, futuristic, innovative, advanced, pioneering, groundbreaking, revolutionary and spacey aesthetic to this watch that actually the design aesthetic rips right through the overall Nubeo brand in how it designs watches and how it markets them too. They all are very, very spacey indeed. The strap is a silicone strap. This one is actually the secondary blue one and has these rectangular holes designed in the top part of the strap near the lug, and note that this black ice comes with 2 straps, blue and white, and that the other product variants in this range also all come with 2 straps too. The crimson black comes with red and black, the gold and black comes with black and orange, the indigo blue comes with blue and white, and the juniper green comes with black and green. The movement is unspecified, most likely to be an unspecified Chinese made movement, but I have been informed that it boasts 21,600 beats per hour and 36 hours power reserve. There is no hacking seconds, and well, I'm a little on the fence with Nubeo's lack of real clarity over the type of movement used. I've been told that it's not built in-house, but that's pretty much it. I mean, my advice to Nubeo would be to simply declare what it is, provide us with a few more specs of the movement, BPH, power reserve, number of joules, etc., to give us watch enthusiasts a bit more by way of specification. But what I can say is that, well, it looks nice through the exhibition caseback. The mineral lens of that caseback sporting this cool etching, which is actually an outline of the Davinci probe itself that NASA is sending to Venus. You've got some pretty cool personalization on the movement, the rotor, and other elements of the movement sport some pretty cool looking designs, so yeah, it looks pretty. But yeah, overall, the status is an unspecified movement. On my 7.5 inch wrist it wears, well, what can I say, in terms of comfortability it wears absolutely really well, but it's big. In fact, as you probably guessed from the dimensions of this watch, it's a bit of a beast, and actually being a bit of a beast is very much part of Nubeo's trademark. Most of their watches are 45mm in diameter plus, and I mean, I have pretty biggish wrists, and this looks pretty big. The huge and juicy 53.2mm lug to lug and 46mm in diameter, I would say just about sits okay on my sized wrists without it looking like the International Space Station has just landed on my wrist. It actually doesn't feel too heavy on my wrist at 109 grams, not too heavy, but then remember it has no steel bracelet. It sounds weird, but it probably looks larger on camera than it probably does on my wrist in real life, and looks better against a long sleeve top or a jacket, in my opinion, to just take the edge away from how big this watch actually is. Not sure how it would look on a 6.5-inch wrist, but my guess is pretty mammoth. Nubeo's stance of creating these larger sized watches will probably alienate a very large part of the watch market and watch loving community, who will feel that it's simply too big. But then bold, juicy models like this Davinci is designed by Nubeo with exactly that in mind, being bold, and they take no prisoners if you have smaller wrists. In terms of price, I mean, Nubeo's pricing for me is almost a bit of a gimmick, dare I say, with several retailers that form part of Nubeo's distribution model, and indeed Nubeo themselves via their website quite often offering huge discounts on their listed pricing. But for the sake of the section of my review, the MSRP of the Nubeo Davinci Black Eyes is £1,159 UK pound sterling, or 1470 USD, or a touch under 1340 euros in today's market. But please, for the love of Venus herself, please don't pay that rate. I mean, as of today, Nubeo are offering 40% off that rate right now for a limited time, and I'm sure other retail distributors you'll find if you shop around will offer huge discounts on that MSRP. Overall, well, what can I say? It's kind of been epic having this in my collection over the last few weeks, and the guys at Nubeo have been pretty awesome to me, I must say, not just by sending me this really cool timepiece to film and review, but also for being all around pretty nice people. As you know, I always tend to lean towards microbrands or smaller independent watch brands, but actually the little boy inside of me who is in awe of what's out there in space, and everything that is associated with space, the solar system, the galaxy, and the Milky Way, and the wider universe, I don't know, that little boy inside of me has always gravitated towards the Nubeo brand and their cool space-themed designs. This watch, whilst I'm a little in the dark about the movement, which annoys me slightly because I love to know and want to know about every single aspect of what is wrapped around my wrist, aside from that, I actually quite like it. It's big, it's bold, I absolutely adore the design, I adore the inspiration behind it, and, well, it's like a space control panel wrapped around my wrist. And if it's not the serious watch enthusiast that propels me to wear this watch, then it's definitely the little kid inside me that does.
Okay, you had a little trouble with it.
John Cobb, who becomes NASA's second flight director.
But fine, we understand.